In this video, you're going to be taking a look at Obi-Wan Kenobi, based upon his appearance from the Phantom Menace for the Saga collection. So up to this point, I've done plenty of videos for Attack of Clones Obi-Wans, Clone Wars Obi-Wans, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, but this is the very first one I'm doing on the channel for the Phantom Menace, which is kind of ironic because I probably have more Phantom Menace Obi-Wans than I do from the rest of the films. And this one you're looking at here from the Saga collection is actually the very first one I got. When I first started collecting in 2002, Phantom Menace characters were very hard to come by at that time. So when I found this action figure in stores in 2006, it was a big deal for me because up until then, I never saw a Phantom Menace Obi-Wan in stores at all. And by then, Power of the Jedi and of course Phantom Menace was already phased out by then. And I don't think there was ever a Phantom Menace Obi-Wan released in Saga or, of course, the Revenge of the Sith line or anything of that sorts. So this was a big deal. So I actually saw this at a local store of mine in 2006, and I told my parents that I wanted it for Christmas, and sure enough, I did. So I got this for Christmas in 2006, and it's been in my collection ever since. So was that 18 years now at this point? And personally, I'm a big fan of this Obi-Wan. It's actually a kit bash of various Obi-Wans up to this point. There's really nothing new about it. It's reutilizing existing parts from before, and it's taking a lot of the best parts that were used before. And I'll point out a few of those right now. So from my understanding, this Obi-Wan's mostly reutilizing the head, the torso, and maybe the arms off of a Power of the Jedi Obi-Wan. Two different types. There's two different Power of the Jedi Obi-Wans released at the time. And then I believe the legs here are reutilized from the Phantom Menace Obi-Wan. So for all intents and purposes, you could say that this was probably one of the first Phantom Menace specific or Phantom Menace specific line action figures that I own in my collection. So I think the head sculpt's pretty good. I think that's a decent likeness to Ewan McGregor. As you can see, it does have a Padawan braid here, and it's actually made of it almost looks like real hair. So that's pretty neat. And it does have red and yellow bows basically tied around it. Hair looks pretty good. The face, like I said, I think it's pretty good. Is it the best Ewan McGregor appearance? Probably not, but it's pretty good for the time. And especially, even though this is an 18-year-old action figure, it's using parts from, what, 24 years ago at this point? So I think that's pretty good. As for the rest of the body, it's pretty basic. Pretty standard for Obi-Wan. Standard ropes here. I didn't really notice this until I took this off the shelf. He's been on the shelf for a long time now, but I think the plastic is ever so slightly starting to get a little sticky, so I might have to give this guy a baby powder wash or wash him down with soap at some point. I'm kind of surprised that happened because I've never really had an action figure do that. That's already been in my collection before. Lately, I've been going back and getting a lot of Phantom Menace action figures, and a lot of them have been very sticky, and been going through and washing them lately. So as you can see, he does have his robe, and I think it's a pretty good fit for him. Proportions are pretty good, and I actually really like how the hood drapes over his head there. It's almost like the wind is blowing towards him, and then of course it poofs out his hood a little bit. And then you can have it where it basically just rests on top of his head. So I think that's pretty good. I really like it. And of course, oops, yeah, the stand doesn't fit on too well. You can take this robe off. See how he looks here. And yeah, you could tell that definitely looks like an older style Obi-Wan. As far as articulation, it's pretty basic. He has a swivel at the neck there, then swivel shoulders and swivel elbows. Nothing in the wrists, but that's okay. Then swivel waist, and then swivel hips, and that's it. You know, it's a little bit more restricted on the articulation. I think it's pretty good, and you can get him in most of the poses you're going to want him in. In terms of his weapons and accessories, pretty standard for Obi-Wan. Seems like a signature item for him is this comlink here, and I'm pretty sure this is the same comlink that we've gotten throughout the years for this Obi-Wan. You can actually attach this one to the belt here, I think on the peg right there. Let's see. Yeah, and that one fits pretty good. I think I tried it on my TVC Attack of Clones Obi-Wan before, and it doesn't seem to want to fit too well. That one seems to pop into place pretty good and stays secure. I've had this comlink in his hand for pretty much the entire time I've had him. In fact, I had the elastic band around his hand for the longest time, and there was a little bit of a mark left there from that band, but it seems to have worn away from time. This was probably about 10 years ago when I finally took that band off. He holds the comlink pretty good in his hand, and you can kind of get him in a natural pose holding it. He's speaking in through it. Right there. And of course his lightsaber, which I think that is pretty specific to Phantom Menace, the hilt is. And it's a very nice blue blade. I think this is an older style hilt. This might be borrowed from either Power of the Jedi or Phantom Menace, I'm not sure. And of course the robe, then a stand. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Phantom Menace. Very nice. And he does come with a hologram. This is not the one he came with, but I figured Darth Maul is a fitting one for him. I'm pretty sure he came with Darth Vader at the time. It seemed like that was always a holographic figure I was getting. But I figured I've showed Vader enough times on this channel for the hologram, so I'll show Maul again. I think I've showed this one before too, but it's fitting the Phantom Menace here. But other than that, that's pretty much all I can tell you about this Obi-Wan. Would I recommend him for your collection? I would. As far as I know, the prices are still pretty affordable on eBay for this Saga collection one. And of course, Power of the Jedi and Phantom Menace, those are all pretty affordable as well. I've been looking at a lot of the prices for those, and they're still pretty good. But I have an emotional attachment with this Obi-Wan since it's been in my collection for so long. It's my very first Phantom Menace Obi-Wan. And of course it was given to me by my parents for Christmas, so it's a pretty important one for me. If I had to only keep a few action figures in my collection, this is one I would definitely hold on to. And as far as Phantom Menace Obi-Wans go, this is a pretty decent one. Is it the best of the best? Definitely not, but that's okay. It's good enough. Yeah, really good. I will do a comparison here real quick. I did get a Phantom Menace Qui-Gon recently, but he's extremely sticky. In fact, he's even worse than the Jabba from the Legacy collection I have. So he's basically being worked on right now, so I'll show this mail away Qui-Gon and Eope with him. They look really good together. Did do a video on this Qui-Gon several months ago, so I would recommend checking that out. Then do a quick sneak preview here of the next video I'm going to be doing. A later version of Phantom Menace Obi-Wan. Kind of see the evolution of it. And personally, I do really like this action figure, but I think this one, you really can't beat this one in my opinion. But happy is a part of my collection. Anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.